Hey guys, and welcome back to Isekai Easy. And today we are going to be. You're just gonna start. We're gonna start this, boys. Okay? I've wanted to say this for a while now. First of all, right? It's been a long time. I've been making so many edits. I haven't actually made a video in a very, 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 very long time, right? And if you've noticed from the thumbnail, I don't know. It's just like we gotta talk about this, alright, boys. We gotta talk about this. You, 64 subscribers, all of you. If I'm sure most of you won't even be. I'm sure most of you who even watch this aren't even subscribed. I'm sure it's just gonna be in the algorithm because this is gonna be a done topic. I'm not even sure if it's gonna be visible to people, right? But we gotta talk about this right now, right? And I'm not some philosophical, mental gymnastics, mind of the Aspras kind of person. I'm not some beyond the I'm not like a mental person who reads between the lines too much, right? About these kind of things. But I gotta say, right? And I'm gonna make a video about Gojo for Satoru, but right now I need to talk about Gojo as a character, right? And look, I know I shit on Gojo and Yuta, and well, not Gojo specifically, but I do shit on Yuta a lot. And I have to say that y'all need to calm down with these theories, bro. Like, I've been seeing some crazy stuff online. I've been seeing some stuff about how he's gonna come back in like 50 different ways. And the thing is, as much as I always say this is Gege, and Gege could do this, and Gege could do that, no. There's no. The thing is, right, about JJK, is that Gojo, and I think we've all known this, Gege making Gojo, creating Gojo as a character, is a difficult task, generally speaking. And Gege creating Gojo as a character, and not just as a character, as like a sensei character, as basically a main character. He's like the Kakashi of the group. He's like the Jiraiya. He's like a main person. He's like very connected to the story. So I understand why people want him to stay and want him to be there and want Kashimo to do good stuff and all that stuff. But come on, guys, let's be real for a good second. Gojo's character's done. Alright? Let's get that out of the way. Like, he's done. He's done. He is done. I'm sorry to say. He is over. He's gone. He is finished. He is gone. He is away. He's no longer in this big blue bubble we call Earth as a main character. And that's not a bad thing, guys. He's not here anymore. That's not a bad thing. Y'all need to understand that Gojo's done way more than anyone else in the entire series up to this point has done. He, against Sukuna, he has, for all intents and purposes, he's given these guys a second wind. He's given the cast a second. Now, I would have personally preferred if Gojo and Sukuna both killed each other equally and just died there. But I also understand that Gojo, right, as a character, right, he's not gonna stay. I understand that. I've said it myself. I said there might not be a way for Gojo to die and for everything to make sense, but at the same time, this is Gege. Okay, we gotta trust the process with Gege, and we have to understand that Gojo as a character is done. His entire show of power is a facade. Tell me this. Tell you this, right? Whenever Gojo is alone, right? He's never been alone in the series. Every time we've seen him, he's usually around people, be them the villains or the heroes. Every time he's alone, he calls himself the strongest. Now, you could say that's from a place of arrogance, right? Sure, yeah, of course. But when you look deeper into his character, that's all he seems to know about himself. And Sukuna, by killing him, technically just freed him from that burden of strongest. And I know people have talked about this a lot. Come on, like, it's pretty obvious. A lot of people talk about this. But we have to understand, this character named Gojo has done everything he's taken his body and mind, his speed, agility. He's taken everything to the max. He's shown us everything we know he can do. And I said it too. I said, dude's shown us purple, he's shown us red, he's shown us blue. That's all, right? And that's everything he's been able to show. And I'll get to the the actual fights, right? I'll get to like Gojo versus Sukuna and Lasses one day, right? Maybe in a couple of days. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Depending on how long this video takes to edit. But for all intents and purposes, he's done it. He's done what he can. He has thrown everything out at Sukuna, and Sukuna survived, and he's satisfied with that. He's satisfied with that. And there's nothing wrong with being satisfied with losing to someone like Sukuna. Sukuna has been hyped up as this man who dominated the era where Jujutsu was at its peak, right? And then you have Gojo, who's basically only ever called himself the strongest, or people around him called him the strongest. People who've never met Sukuna are the ones calling him the strongest. Kenjaku's never called him the strongest. Kenny's never called him the strongest. Tenga's never called him the strongest. The people who know who Sukuna is, the people who've met Sukuna, call Sukuna the strongest. And again, I'll get to all this strongest stuff back later, on a different time. But right now, I need to tell you guys that Gojo's character is done. He's done. I mean, even the narrator literally said, the dude's dead. He literally said, there's no time to mourn Gojo. Kashimo's coming in. That's literally what happened. It's like, bro, sorry, you can't cry right now. Kashimo's about to fight. Gets one shot in 2 times. He gets beaten up in 2 chapters. Okay, we're gonna talk about Kashimo too. One day, sure. But for now, we have to understand that Gojo is done. He's finished. Look, Gojo is a great character, right? I don't like him personally. I don't like Sukuna too. I don't really give a fuck about them. But for the most part, they've done their job. He's done his job. The rest is up to his students. If his students were able to do all of this and survive all this and win and finally come out of all this bullshit, right? And unseal Gojo, they can possibly find a way around Sukuna. How? Don't ask me. Ask Gege that question. I have no idea. But for the most part, they can. There is a way. They have a choice, and the best way I see is Yuji, the main character. He is the best chance they have at beating Sukuna. Again, how? No idea. I don't make theory videos. I make just analysis. Usually, just talk about stuff, and that's it. Versus battles. I'm not I don't know, right? I don't know. So, for the most part, Gojo died because, he died because he wasn't strong enough to beat Sukuna, simple. And Gojo died happy. Now, could Yuta bring him back with RCT? I don't know. Guess technically Sukuna could do it, guess Yuta could do it, but is Yuta even... We don't even know where Yuta is. The fraud allegations continue with him. That dude. But for now, yeah. Sukuna, Yuta, Gojo, these characters, they're just characters, bro. I've seen people buying stars for these guys. I've seen people doing crazy stuff for these guys. I've seen people making memorials of Gojo. No one ever made a memorial for Jiraiya. I don't see a memorial anywhere. There's no Jiraiya memorial. There's no Jiraiya statue. There's no Naruto statue. The fact that the nigga's even not around is that something no one even talks about. Because it's Boruto. Who gives a fuck about Boruto except for me? But yeah, that is the life. That's the life we see, bro. Everyone wants Gojo to come back when they don't realize that this is how Gojo's character ends. And Gojo, throughout this entire fight, he's been sad. He was satisfied halfway through it. I have no arguments to think that he was not satisfied halfway through this. Y'all need to understand that Gojo was satisfied. He was satisfied with this fight, and he had no regrets. He did everything he could. Why would you have regrets when you've done everything you can? He did everything he could. Granted, he should have killed Sukuna and Kenjaku right there where he was standing. But yeah, that's sure, right? He still said he'd win, right? And he lost. But the thing is, I don't consider him a fraud for that. Because he did everything he could. He put everything into his fight. He put everything into his soul. He threw hands in every conceivable way. Threw hands with this dude. Tried to kill him. And still lost. Such is war. And as far as it stands, he's still the second strongest. That's not a bad title, especially when you're coming from an era where everyone's basically doing Christmas and Halloween is a thing, right? It's not as serious as back then. So I would not expect Gojo. I even said it, right? I said it a lot. I said, Gojo, sure, he's built to be the strongest, but there is no reason why. There is nothing to give me that sense that he could dominate Sukuna in a one-on-one. Yes, he has infinity, which is a problem, but okay, we'll get to, again, this is the third time saying, we'll get to that. But for now, let Gojo rest. Let him die, bro. In the words, and I know this is gonna sound stupid, but look, in the words of a Ruby, there's a Ruby character, is a god of light kind of thing. Dude literally said this too. He said, let him rest. Now, you could be like Salem and say no, or you could do the sensible thing that the writers of that fucking show should be doing and say, yes, let him rest. Let him rest. All of y'all, let him rest, bro. Let him take a break. Dude has done everything. He did everything he could. Couldn't kill Sukuna and dies. Why does he have? What regrets should he have? Yeah, sure. Did he say he would win? Yes. But I don't think anyone who would, like, look, it's like a line on your resume, right? You say you know how to do something, but you don't really know how to do it. Gojo wouldn't say he's not sure. That doesn't sound like Gojo, right? He's gonna say he'd win, even if he has no conceivable way of winning. That's just who Gojo is. Even if he wasn't sure, Gojo would still say he'd win. That is Gojo. So when people say, why the fuck would Gojo say he'd win and then proceed to lose? It's stupid. No, why? And the off-screening thing? Nigga, Gojo didn't get off-screen. He did not get off-screen. I don't know how people think this. How did Gojo get off-screen? He didn't. Sure, he, at first, yeah, everything seemed fine, right? Everything seemed handy-dandy. It's looking he was winning. And then, we see that he actually died. And then he's on the floor, dead, by the end of the chapter. Is that off-screening? No. We know what happened. You can infer. You're not stupid. You can infer what happened. He got cleaved. And how did the cleave function? Well, I'll probably try to explain that in a different video. Maybe in the same video, actually. The same Gojo Sukuna analysis. But, please, I'm begging you, let Gojo rest. He's done enough. For both of you. For all of you. For all of us. He has fought and fought and fought. It's like, think of it like this, right? Imagine I went into a competition, right? And I trained, before that I trained so hard, made sure I reached the pinnacle of excellence with my physical body and my mental, in my mind and my body, you know, all that stuff. I went to the pinnacle, right? I did everything I could to get that strong. I entered the competition and I lose. What regrets should I have about losing? I did everything. There should be no regrets. I look back at this, I did everything I could, I did win. That's it. Now, sure, this is not technically a competition, this is life or death. But it's the same concept. Gojo, he knew, he didn't think he was gonna win, right? And there were times in battle he looked like he thought he was gonna lose. He looked satisfied. He felt satisfaction. By the time, like halfway through the chapters, over halfway, he felt satisfaction in this fight. He felt satisfied. So when y'all look at Gojo and say, "Oh, he should have done more." What more? Dude did everything, literally everything he could. He should have won. How? He lost. Now, the way he lost, is that fair? I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe not. Will his students even win this thing? I don't know. No, knowing the Gege writing, it's very likely they might not. Maybe not. Who knows? But to say Gojo was absolutely useless, or to say Gojo didn't have anything of value to offer, is just come on, boys. You gotta understand. This is Gojo. He's a human. He's a god who isn't really a god. He's not even a false god. He's just a god who a demigod who just stumbled. A guy who just believed himself to be a god. Felt lonely because of that. Found someone, an actual god who could challenge him, and loses to that god, and felt satisfied. That is Gojo. Now, I understand that Gege's writing is often subtle. It's very subtle. But I think with Gojo, I think he did alright. I think this was a good ending for him, right? And I think you all should respect that. Of course, some people say, oh, it's just the off-screen thing. Understandable, yeah. I get the off-screen thing wasn't great, but give it a chance. Alright? But that's all from me. I would like to hear your thoughts, and see you later. Goodbye.